On the 8th of November 1939, a German carpenter missed killing Adolf Hitler by 13 minutes with a bomb he built alone and hid inside a stone pillar over more than 30 nights. He was not a general, not a spy. He led no resistance network. He commanded no soldiers. He was a cabinet maker from a small village, a man most people would have passed without a second look. And yet he came closer to killing Adolf Hitler than the famous officers history chose to remember. He did it almost 5 years before them. The bomb worked. The timing was perfect. The ceiling came down exactly where Adolf Hitler had been standing. So how did the most guarded man in Germany walk out alive? Hold on to that question. Everything leads back to it. His name was Johann Georg Elser, born in 1903 in the Swabian village of Hermeringen. He worked with his hands his whole life, a cabinet maker, a craftsman, exceptional with wood and with mechanisms, patient, precise, a man who measured twice and said little. In the evenings he played the zither. There was nothing about him that marked him for history. But Elser watched. While the crowds cheered and the flags went up, he saw what the cheering crowds refused to see. He saw where it was all heading, the controlled wages, the stripped freedoms, the steady drumbeat of war, and he reached a conclusion almost no one around him shared. This would end in catastrophe. Then came the second conclusion, the one that took over his life. If the whole regime rested on a few men, then removing those men could stop it before it began. No army, no uprising. One act, one person, and he decided that person would be him. By 1938, the plan had hardened. The target was not Hitler alone. It was Hitler, Göring, and Goebbels together, the inner circle, in a single strike. But to catch all three in one room, he needed a fixed place and a fixed date. There was exactly one. Every year, on the 8th of November, Hitler returned to Munich, to the same beer hall, the Bürgerbräukeller, to give the same speech marking the failed putsch of 1923 that had launched his rise. Same hall, same night, year after year. It was the most predictable appointment in the entire Reich, and Elser understood that predictability was a weakness. In November 1938, he went to study it. He sat in the hall, he watched, and he noticed two things that decided everything. First, the security. For the leader of a nation marching toward war, it was astonishingly loose. The hall was watched by party stewards, old comrades, not police. No one searched the walls. No one guarded the building after the crowds went home. Second, a pillar. A thick stone column stood directly behind the platform where Hitler would speak, holding up the balcony above. Elser looked at it and understood something simple and terrible. Hide a charge inside that stone, fire it while Hitler stands at the lectern, and the balcony and the ceiling would come down on that exact spot. No one would survive. From that moment, the cabinet maker had his blueprint, and he began to build. He took a job in a quarry where explosives were handled, then another in an armaments factory, and quietly, over months, he gathered what he needed, a little at a time, so little that no one ever missed it. He studied, he tested, he told no one, he brought no one in. Every person added to a secret is a way for it to die. Elser meant this secret to live. In the summer of 1939, he moved to Munich. And here the plan becomes something almost unimaginable. Night after night, he ate dinner in the beer hall like any other customer. Then, before closing, he slipped away, hid, and let himself be locked inside the empty building. Alone in the dark, by the light of a small torch, he went to work on the pillar. He carved into solid stone. He hollowed out a cavity inside it. He fitted a hidden wooden door over the opening, disguised so well that even up close in daylight you would not find it. He worked for hours every night, and before the staff returned each morning, he swept up every fragment of dust and stone, erased every trace, and crept out, leaving the hall exactly as he had found it. He did this for more than 30 nights. 30 nights, kneeling in total darkness, scraping at stone an inch at a time, inside the Bürgerbräukeller itself, the birthplace of the Nazi movement. One sound, one forgotten chip of plaster, one early cleaner. Any of it meant death. No one to share the fear, no one to tell him to keep going. One man, one chisel, and a belief that this was worth his life. Inside the hollow pillar, he placed his bomb, fitted with a timer he had engineered himself, built to count down across days, not hours, so he could be far away when it fired. On the 6th of November, he set it. Detonation at 20 minutes past 9 on the evening of the 8th, the hour Hitler was always still speaking. He closed the little door. He checked it one last time. And he walked out of the Bürgerbräukeller for good, leaving a bomb ticking inside the wall, counting down toward the most powerful man in Europe. Everything he could control, he had controlled. By every measure, the plan had already worked. And then it came down to the one thing no carpenter could build and no man could plan for: chance. On the 8th of November, the weather over Munich turned. A heavy fog rolled in, thick enough to ground aircraft. Hitler had meant to fly back to Berlin that night. With his plane grounded, he was forced onto a train, and the train left earlier. So the whole evening was moved up. His speech was brought forward. It was cut short. He finished at 7 minutes past 9, and for once, he did not stay to drink with the old comrades. He left at once, hurrying for his train. At 20 minutes past 9 to the minute, exactly as Elser had said it, the bomb went off. The pillar exploded. The balcony and the ceiling crashed down onto the platform, burying the lectern where Hitler had stood speaking minutes before. 8 people were killed. More than 60 were wounded. The front of the hall collapsed into rubble and dust, but the man it was built for was gone. Hitler was already on his train north when the news reached him. He would call his survival a sign, proof, he said, that fate itself was protecting him. 13 minutes. That was the entire margin. More than a year of solitary, flawless work, undone by fog, a train timetable, and 13 minutes. And there is a crueler detail still. At the moment the bomb tore through the hall, Elser wasn't even there to see it fail. He was already at the border near Constance, trying to slip into Switzerland. That same night the guards stopped him. They searched him, and what they found sealed his fate. Detonator parts, sketches and notes. A postcard of the inside of the Bürgerbräukeller. He was arrested as a suspicious man at the frontier before the guards even knew a bomb had gone off in Munich. By the time the news caught up, the man who built it was already in their hands. What came next shows just how impossible his achievement was. When Elser confessed, when he told them he had done all of it alone, they did not believe him. They could not. A lone village craftsman, no schooling, no party, no help, could not possibly have designed and built and placed such a device. They were certain there was a foreign hand behind him, a network, a government. They interrogated him for that hidden conspiracy without mercy. There was none. There had only ever been one man. So they kept him alive. Hitler ordered it. Elser held as a special prisoner, first in Sachsenhausen, then in Dachau, perhaps to be paraded one day in a show trial after the war was won. That day never came. On the 9th of April, 1945, with Germany collapsing and Allied troops only weeks from the gates of Dachau, the order finally came down. Georg Elser was taken aside and shot. He had survived more than 5 years in the camps and was killed at the very edge of liberation. He should have been remembered as the first man who truly came close. Instead, for decades, his name was buried, and worse. After the war, a poisonous rumor spread that Elser had been a Nazi tool, that the bombing had been staged. The lone carpenter who risked everything was recast as a fraud, while the officers who failed in 1944 became legends. It took years and patient work by historians to restore the truth, and for Germany to finally honor him for what he was. Because the truth is this: the man who came closest to killing Adolf Hitler was no soldier, no spy, no part of any plot in the history books. He was a quiet cabinet maker from a Swabian village who looked at the future, saw the horror coming, and decided alone with his own 2 hands that someone had to try to stop it. And he very nearly did. 13 minutes. That was all that stood between Georg Elser and a different century. Every week we uncover a war the world forgot. Subscribe so you never miss a forgotten story. And let us know in the comments, if 8 innocent people were the price, should Georg Elser have done it anyway?